celebratory suicide!
This is freaking bullcrap, Mom. Nintendo ain't copyright claiming this video.
Hello and welcome to WedSNESday, the show where I look at all 21 games on this thing. Like, what? Sounds like a pretty good idea, you know? You got Mario, you got Kirby, you got Secret of Mana, a lot of fun and interesting games that would be cool to look at. Let me let you in on a little secret for Heme Gaming Station reviews. I got some strengths and I got some weaknesses. The strengths would include first-person shooters, platformers, and of course RPGs. The weaknesses, those would include games like fighting games, space shooters, and racing games. With that said, let's look at a racing game called F-Zero!
So, a racing game from the days of 16 bits. You know, it is technically impressive. I mean, it was a launch title that really showed that the Super Nintendo had Mode 7! However, if you've played any F-Zero game, or heck, even a racing game since then, this is gonna feel a bit dated. So you got 4 cars to choose from: Captain Falcon, the Alien Pico, Samurai Guru-san, and Dr. Stewart. Also, there are 15 maps, but I only saw 12 of them because Deathwind 2 is kind of impossible. So the graphics are pretty appealing. I love how richly detailed your car is. Every time you turn this game, the little spoiler on the back, it kind of moves with your car, and it just looks great. You're flying down these maps, and every single one of them looks different. And they're varied enough so it feels like it's got its own identity. But the high point of this game is that music. Big Blue and Mute City are some of the best and most recognized tracks in all of video games, and they got their start here. And even with the 16 bits, they just sound amazing. And I feel like all of the tracks are pretty much on par with those songs, and they really help to set the mood of F-Zero. So this game is pretty difficult. The hairpin turns are tough to make, and screw-ups are not easily forgiven, especially on later stages. Not to mention, passing people in this game is incredibly tough, because if you touch anything in this game, your steering gets janked. Not only do you have the 3 main racers that you gotta watch out when you pass, but they also have a bunch of these, just dudes whose only purpose is to mess you up as you drive. However, I did like intentionally colliding with the ones who were flashing because that meant that they were ready to explode.
I just killed a man.
And with that said, I think I've said everything that I can about this game. So I guess for the rest of the video, I'll just talk about specific stages. Okay, so I don't have much to say about the first 3 stages. The graphics are pretty appealing, I like the backgrounds, and they have that music that has just become famous. Deathwind 1 is a pretty interesting race because there's this slight wind pushing your racer the whole time. See how I'm facing slightly to the left but I'm still going to the right a bit? It's a nice touch, I like it. The map after that is called Silence.
Liars.
The sound of silence.
The Queen Cup has some really great levels. I really like how Mute City 2 has this donut hole, and I always felt like I passed someone who was ahead of me here. Also, that turn radius is just perfect. Port Town 1, however, is stupid. The whole map is fine, I guess, the background looks great, but this part right here, the freaking walls are magnetized! You are almost guaranteed to be pulled in these walls, take damage, and lose speed! Nothing really to say about Red Canyon, but oh! Whiteland 1? That's a pretty sweet level. It definitely has a bit of a learning curve to it because the snow messes with your hover car. But eventually I did figure it out. And the reason I think I like this level is because it's the only map where the computers get messed with. You know, although I never saw the snow throw them off, the fact that I could take the lead without knowing what was going on made it feel like they were making mistakes. You know, I saw in Port Town that they weren't getting pulled into the magnet walls, and that kind of cheesed my broccoli, but I definitely felt like they were affected by the snow, and that made me feel good. Now the stage after that has, 2 problems. Number 1, it is called Whiteland 2. We just finished Whiteland 1! Either put this stage later or heck, just call it something else. Ivoryland. White Zone, not Whiteland 2. Second off, screw this stage. There is a jump in it. And unlike the little short hop where Falcon shoved me into oblivion, I cannot get the speed to hop in. No matter how well I do coming up to it or how straight I go off of it, my car cannot make the jump. I lost the Queen's Cup because I couldn't make this stupid jump. How do you do it? After that was the King Cup. Another 5 stages, but I only got to see 2 of them. Number 1 is Mute City 3. It's like the other Mute Cities, except the sociopaths here planted landmines.
Huh, landmines. Oh, I found some landmines.
And the next map is Death Wins 2. While I feel like I probably could beat it, I took several attempts and couldn't make it. There's just too many sharp turns that chip away at your health, combined with the low amount of healing each lap, and honestly, surviving 5 laps is going to be incredibly difficult. Okay, I have a sliver of health, but I think I can make it. No!
So, that's F-Zero, and that's all I have to say about that. You know, honestly, I'd much prefer to take a look at the one on the N64. You got 30 simultaneous players and characters to choose from, not to mention the ability to, like, spin and attack people. Oh, it's great. Sign me the heck up for that. You know, I'll definitely have to take a look at that eventually. You know, yeah, my schedule's kind of strict. I don't know when I'll be able to get to that, but I do know that 4 episodes from now, I'll be able to take a look at another game on this thing, and that episode will be... No.